Coaches Conversations, Coaches Convos. I'm Coach Will. As always, I'm here with Coach Quan. And we talked last episode a lot about meals, a lot about nutrition, a lot about food. And we were kind of running late. My battery was dying. And so we didn't really get to finish it. So I want to talk about kind of getting into meal preps. So like getting started with how to meal prep and like what's the steps to getting into it, because it's so hard. It's such an, like, to us now it's an easy concept of just getting the food, knowing what we want, knowing what to do, but it's kind of overwhelming, I think, to some people to get started in eating food.
Okay.
And eating, like, getting into a regimen. So how did you start yours? How would you recommend clients start meal prepping?
Honestly, I would say it's probably the hardest thing to get accustomed to doing.
100%.
Definitely the hardest thing to become accustomed to doing. Not only do you have to go get your groceries, but then you have to prep for cooking and then cook, and then you have to do dishes after. So it definitely becomes taxing on the body and taxing on the mind. But I would say the easiest things that I've taken to, I've done or applied to make my approach a little bit better is just getting over the fact, just knowing that food is fuel in a sense. But that just comes from the background that I have in the field and stuff. So if you're new coming in, it becomes like a blur. So I completely understand that. But the easiest thing to make that better for yourself is knowing that you're just gonna have food for the entire day, or you won't have to order out. Ultimately, you are gonna be saving yourself a lot of money, or a little bit of money. At the end of the week, which is always beneficial as well. So what helped me was starting off with getting a bunch of containers, honestly. Just having the containers. I didn't have anything to pack my food in, so why would I prep my food? So definitely start off with those containers. Make yourself a lot easier. Literally canteens of 8 ounces, 6 ounces, different ounces, sizes, just so that you can separate your foods and make it easy for yourself. Simple and organized, but you need those containers, most definitely. And then from there, what food sources would you like to eat? Like, what do you eat? You know what I mean? Like, if I was to go food shopping, I'm going to probably pick up 3 things. That's it. You know what I mean? Greens of beef or chicken, and then rice. You know what I mean? That's my shopping. So like, it's pretty simple, pretty easy. And that's all that I cook to prep. So I make it really easy for myself. I started off with making a shopping list, so I knew what I wanted to pick up before I got to the store, so I didn't find myself wasting too much time, shopping. We want to be in and out, so that's something that definitely helped me. And then being in the kitchen, coming from a background of my parents being both like very good cooks, I don't know how to cook anything, not anything at all. So the ground beef or the grilled chicken, throw that right on the grill or right on the pan, and it cooks itself. So it's very quick, about 8 to 15 minutes each meal for myself. I keep it nice and simple, no really crazy recipes, or not trying trying to make any like different style of food, you know what I mean?
Less, bro. You just like scoop it in.
My bad. But yeah, I just try to make it easy for myself in that sense, and yeah, keep it simple. Just keep it simple, stupid. I heard that from someone, I forgot who told me that. It was actually Matt. It was sales training for personal training. I was sales training, and he said, "Keep it simple, stupid." And then from there, just apply that aspect to meal prepping. Keep it simple, in and out. Try and be done as quickly as possible. It can be dragged out to where you're prepping the entire day, 5-7 hours, but it doesn't really have to be that long. It just really could be done in 2, maybe 3 tops, and then you have meals for the whole week. But I do like what you did, because you did start doing something where the Instacart, where you don't even have to go shopping. So why don't you expand on the Instacart?
That's a game changer. So for me, it's definitely easier because one, I know exactly what I want. I also, for time purposes, so I use Instacart. I use a grocery delivery service. There's a bunch of different ones. That's the one I like. It's so convenient because you just choose the store you want to go to. You pick what you want, and just like Juan over here said, carb, protein, veggie. So what I used to do even before I did that is I went to the store, and I had no list. So I just went crazy. So I went blind. I went rogue, and I go in, and like you said, containers. Now we always get plastic containers. It's cheaper. You can buy a lot more in bulk.
Most definitely.
They're easy to wash. They're convenient if you don't wash them. They're very easy to throw away. No hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously also glass containers which keep food fresher longer. They are easier to clean because you don't have to worry about the food particles getting permeating through the plastic. There's other health concerns that people say when it comes to eating out of plastic versus eating out of glass. I personally still eat out of plastic just because I don't bank like that. I'm eating 3 to 4 meals a day, so having 20, 30 plus glass containers, one is taxing on the cabinet and taxing on the bed. Absolutely.
100%.
But yeah, so it's as simple as finding a protein first because that's going to be your go-to. It's going to be your muscle builder. It's going to be what should be majority of your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to go find your carb, whether it's rice, potatoes, pasta, chickpea pasta, beans, anything like that. Then you're going to go for your veggie, and then your veggie is going to be whatever you like. Ultimately, this should all be foods that you like to eat, because it would be foolish for you to make 20 meals of something you hate to eat.
Oh, yeah.
So that's as simple as that. First off, I would recommend starting with 1 meal at a time because it's very overwhelming. What we did and what we do is I prep on Saturday nights. I cook my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and my other dinner all at once, and it's taxing. It takes hours. I'm sitting there watching shows and I'm just going through episode after episode like, damn, this is still not done. And I've gotten really condensed and I've gotten really good at it where it takes me maybe 3 hours from start to finish, with cleaning up and everything. But man, it used to be an all-day event. I used to spend my whole Sunday just
definitely
cooking and cleaning. And
easily like that.
So start with 1 meal. And if you're worried about meat, ground beef is a great start because it's very simple. It's pink. You cook it until it's brown. Season it how you like. If it's still pink, keep cooking.
It'll be very simple. 8 to 12 minutes, done.
Yeah.
Ready to make a plate.
Now, I'll make it even easier and more mindless and more time-saving if you're someone who works. You grab a crock pot. Nice and easy. You grab some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You dump it in the crock pot before you go to work. You turn it on, you season it. It's sitting there cooking the entire time you're at work. You come home at night, that's all cooked. It is definitely safe to eat, and it's going to be so falling apart. There's no bone. It's already boneless. But
shoot.
You literally just take 2 forks and you just start shredding it up.
I'm just hungry, guys.
And So that's some of the ease, and you can do the same thing with a rice cooker. So if you want a meal that's literally mindless, you do crock pot chicken. You put the rice cooker on at the same time. It's gonna stay warm through the whole day. Excuse me. And then when you get home, you take out your containers. You throw some frozen microwavable veggies in a microwave. Heat them up. You're done. That is the most simple, easy, and honestly cost-effective meal prep you could probably do. It's one of my go-to favorites. It's something that's definitely in my rotation. But over time, like we said, you can add more meals, you can add more combinations of foods, but ultimately we gotta start with what you like and what you can repeat. Because this is a habit you have to create.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just for the fun of it.
It's certainly not fun. Shredded chicken, rice,
for the better health, and you have a goal in mind. So that's why you would be looking to do the meal preps actually, whether you're trying to bulk correctly or you're trying to cut. Dieting is tactical, so you definitely have to make sure that it's a major role in your life, major factor in your life. So definitely start implementing it, and that's just a few things that we've done to get us up on a groove to start. It's still challenging, still hard to this day. I haven't prepped in months, honestly, maybe a month since the competition, and that's something that I tell myself that I would like to do, but it's I haven't been able to find time for it. But I just got to lock back in for myself again. It is something that is challenging to do, but it's something that's beneficial towards your goal if you look at it in that aspect. For sure.
Absolutely, and it's so hard. There are weeks where I've had a couple weeks where I just didn't prep at all, and man, I was ordering every day.
Yeah.
It's
easy like that.
Yeah, thankfully we have a gym that has a meal prep service, so we can every now and then when they have new shipments in, we get better meals. But after a while, you just decide, man, I want Chipotle.
Some flavor. You know?
There was, I think it was last Friday, we both got paid and we went, we got breakfast, yeah, we got Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
and then a couple hours later, we finished our workouts, and I texted him, Chipotle, and
did you do the other podcast, the Wing podcast that day?
Yeah, so I think I did my podcast that day, so then I ordered wings at night. Oh, no, that was the day before.
Okay,
you wanted to order food, and I said I would order food if I didn't already know I was about to smack down some wings.
Yeah, all we do is eat food, honestly. It's terrible. So just make sure that you're eating the right food and making sure that you have those preps just to make sure that you're not wanting to order out. It just takes away those cravings that you have, knowing that you have a meal in the refrigerator and you're at work or you're home or something like that. Just having a meal already made, you can just go heat it up and then eat it. It's a healthier choice, and that's what we're fighting to do, is make better choices. So.
And if you have a fridge that's always full, or you have multiple people living in the house, and it's hard to have I literally bought another fridge to put in my sunroom, just so I can have a spot for all my meals, because I live with my family, and the idea of me putting in 5 days, 6 days worth of containers in the fridge was not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I would have had to my family would have to be hungry and not be able to eat anything if I had to put all my meals in there. And now there is an argument, another option that you have, if this is something I can't do this, but I will give this option out there as a thought, because some people might already have the argument, oh, I can't fit all these containers in my fridge. That's just not something that's feasible for me, so I guess I'll just go continue eating McDonald's every day. No. What you can do is you can cook all your food, put it in 3 separate containers of your protein, your carb, and your veggie, and then you parcel them out if you have time in the beginning of in the morning. This is definitely a little more time consuming on the back end. You got to give yourself more prep time in the morning to do this, but it's still more convenient and better for you than just ordering out. I had this really good way of describing preparing meals and having a diet and understanding nutrition. There's three circles. It's kind of like a Venn diagram. So you have one circle is cost, one circle is health, and one circle is easy. Or easy. So if it costs a lot and is easy, then it's a catering service. So, because some people do that. They have catering services or meal plan services that do all the work for them, and they just got to pick it up. It's a little more expensive that route. On average, I probably can get my meals. I can make a meal for about $3 a meal, give or take.
Yeah,
when I cook it myself.
The other trainer was telling me yesterday, Markel. I'm like, he's like, yeah, I spend $6 a meal to make my meals. I'm like, really? Where are you doing that? And he's like, I go to the deli, get my rice.
Yeah.
He's like, they just throw cups. They just put mad rice. It's like $3 for rice.
Yeah, let me tell you, I got a 25-pound bag of rice for, I think it was like $30, but 25 pounds of rice is hundreds of cups. It is an aggressive bag. It's a Chinese food store worth of rice.
I need 25 pounds too.
Yeah. Listen, so that saves me a ton of money. That's like 10 cents per plate. So when I do it that way, and then it's my chicken's in bulk. So yeah, but on average, if you go to a meal prep company, it's probably going to be about, if you're buying one at a time, maybe about $10, $12 per plate.
Yeah, per plate.
If you buy in bulk with them, it's probably going to come down to about like 7 or 8. So if it tastes really good, it's going to taste amazing, and you're not going to have, and it's convenient.
Right.
That's a meal prep service. If it tastes really good and it's cheap, it's fast food. It's also convenient. If it tastes good and is cheap, you probably cooked it yourself, but it was not convenient. That's what it is. It's cost, taste, convenience. That's how it is. Now I remember.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
That makes more sense, right?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
And so,
but still easy.
So it's weighing your options. So if you have the means, if you have the budget to go for a meal prep service, and that's easier for you, it's more convenient, and you can afford it, I recommend going that route. I think it's perfectly fine. I would never think less of someone for doing a meal prep service.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I wish I had the funds to do that, because I've done it a couple times, and I've done it like grab and goes, and it's so much more convenient, and their stuff tastes amazing. Like, cause they got
they're cooking in bulk. You know what I mean? So all the flavors, everything is pretty good. So I even would dabble in on that too. I would recommend meal services as well, if I had the means to do so, just like you said, because I would buy a bunch of meals in bulk where I would leave with like 10, 12 meals, and it's like 145, you know, and I could have just went to Stop and Shop and spent $40, and now I have
would have gotten 20 meals.
Exactly. Now I have meals for the entire week instead of just 2 or 3 days, you know. So you really have to weigh your options, but there is a lot of options out there. So that making that known is the number one thing that we're trying to do. So pick your poison. You know what I mean? If you got the means, go out and eat healthier. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive, but why wouldn't you pay for your health? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. But if you can't pay for your health, if that's just something that's not in the cards for you, then finding the easiest, most convenient, and most repeatable meal preps is for you. So like I said in episode 2, I was talking about how for 12 weeks straight I was eating nothing but bison. It was good for a little while, but that's something I could not repeat for a long period of time.
I haven't eaten bison since then.
I haven't even touched it. I literally was, I think I said it in that episode, I was going through my freezer and I was looking for something to cook, and I saw there was a block of bison frozen still from last time I bought it. I shut it and I put it back in the freezer.
Like, no, it just doesn't happen. You know, it turns you off after a long period of time. So being choice friendly and making sure that you are mixing up your food preps, just so that you don't get over a certain or specific meal or a specific taste, because again, we are eating for fuel. I would say, right? We're not eating because we want to. We have to. We literally have to. So why wouldn't you fuel your body properly with the right things? Like he was saying, it is easier to go grab fast food. It is easier to grab a meal prep, but ultimately it's better to just be taking your health in a serious manner. I
agree. And that being said, finding stuff that you like. Like, we're not telling you go eat tilapia and one raw white potato every day. You know, like that's ridiculous thing to say.
Chicken, rice every day.
Yeah, no, that's like that meathead mentality. We both know how hard it is to stick to, and I don't even like calling it diet. I like calling it a nutritional path or a meal plan or a nutritional understanding, because my goal for any of my clients is to find a way to enjoy food that's good for you. And then I also, so now getting into it, now that we're talking about food that we enjoy and what's good for you mentally, cheat meals. Or refeed meals, if you will.
I actually was talking about, I had a discussion at 7 o'clock about refeed meals. So basically, the topic of conversation came up because she was telling me how she did an extra amount of activity yesterday, and she ended up burning like 1,000 more calories than she normally does. And now that's a lot more calories that you would actually burn throughout the day, but she told me that off of her heart monitor. So there's a range that we can go off of, but she did burn a lot more calories than she normally would. So she said she was checking her fitness app, and then it said that she could eat still. So she didn't know what to do with those extra calories. Basically, I just let her know that she could refeed, or she could continue to not necessarily eat. You don't have to put on those extra calories just because you burned extra a little bit. But depending on how you're feeling, your mood, then you would definitely want to refeed in that aspect. So I told her, make sure that you eat today depending on your mood. If you're feeling upset or mad at anything, quick little flip, just eat. You burned a lot, you're lacking a little bit of calories. Calories is energy, so that's what we need. So basically, with that being said, I just told her that she needs to either refeed now or keep it clean, and then you burn the extra calories, which is a good thing in a sense. But it's definitely super important to do that. Necessarily, you want to be using, I say this all the time, you want to be using food for fuel, you know what I mean? And if you are feeling negative about something, whether it's physically or mentally, what you eat controls your emotions. So you have to be eating food is fuel. That's the only thing I can say to that. I hate it myself. I don't want to be eating 24/7. I eat as soon as I get hungry, and it's annoying, but it is something that's necessary because we have long days, dude. You know, it's a long day. You don't want to be negative, or you don't want any mood swings. You don't want people to be looking at you in a negative light. We're trying to do a good thing here, so even though it does get long and it does get hard on us, we still have to be fueling ourselves properly, just so that we have the full amounts of energy, so that we can provide the best service for you guys. You know.
Definitely. I do want to clarify one thing when it comes to cheat and refeed. One, they are two different things. And two, why we do them. The most important part is why we do them. So the reason why we have this day that we are not as strict, we're not. I wouldn't even say day. I would say meal. Let's also specify that a cheat meal versus a cheat day, a refeed meal versus a refeed day is significantly different.
Yeah.
Because one meal to help change your psychological outlook on things. Because if you're so constricted every day and you put yourself in a restricted position, your body is going to react, your brain is going to react, and what you're going to do is you're going to drop your nutritional path, your diet altogether. And now you're eating like garbage 100%. I've been there where I've been super strict, didn't give myself any other options, kept it super tight, and then I had that one takeout. I had that one Wendy's burger. I had that one shake, and now I don't meal prep for another week straight. And I just have, it's all inhibits. All bets are off. But real quick, just to clarify the difference between a cheat day and a refeed day, they're not interchangeable. I've made that mistake. I've done that where I'm like, no, it's a refeed, not a cheat. So a refeed is very specific, and it's mainly carb based. So if you're at the point where you have low energy, brain fog, if your diet is so restricted that it's inhibiting your health and it's inhibiting your output, then we bring in a refeed day. And a refeed day could be an excess of healthy fats or carbohydrates to refuel you. It's refeeding you rather than a cheat day, which is just all bets are off, whatever the hell you desire. My refeed day would be an extra cup of rice and maybe some avocado. My cheat day would be an entire Papa John's pizza. Yeah. With the dipping sauce. So that's the difference. One is used properly, and one will actually give you a better output when you go back to the gym and go back onto your meal plan, whereas the other one is very good for your soul, very good for your mental, but you are going to feel it afterwards, especially if you've been consistent. Your stomach is going to be wrecked, and your brain is going to feel lethargic.
The refeeds, no worries, the refeeds, they're just not lacking the micronutrients that we would definitely lack in our cheat meals, like for sure. So that's why they're more beneficial in a sense too.
Absolutely. Now I had something. I had a question about, since we're sticking to the nutrition topic today, we might divvy off at the end, but this is a continuation of episode 3. Meal timing. Is this something that you really work on, or is this something that you want to work on? Or is
it's definitely something I got to work on. While we were on the prep, it was a lot more strict. Now that we're back and back to normal, major. So I was really heavy on it, and I needed to eat. It was a point where I was eating almost close to every 2.5 hours to every 3 hours. I would push it, and then I would have a snack with every meal as well, instead of mixing my snacks in between those time frames. But even so, it was at a point where training sessions I was eating, classes I was eating. While I was with my friends, I was eating random times, and it literally became a point of where I had to eat at these specific times. So that isn't super healthy, and it's not necessarily the best thing to do for you. If you're trying to grow and expand, have relationships with people, you know what I mean? You're just stuffing your face while they're trying to talk to you. It's not necessarily pretty cool, but we're eating for fuel. So at that point, we have to. So right now, I don't really eat. I would like to try and eat every 3 hours. That's what I go for. I still manage to do that, but if I miss some time, if I go 30 minutes off or an hour off, I'm not too stressed about it. But I do want to stress it just because if you are eating in a non-timely manner, your metabolism gets affected by that. So that's not necessarily something we want. We want our metabolism to stay spiked and up, and that just requires you to eat a little bit more throughout the day or more times throughout the day. So that's something that I still struggle with to this day, and I got to manage it myself. Right now, I don't have any nutritional goals in mind. I say I want to bulk, but I haven't sat down and mapped it out. So that's something that I still got to do myself. And then from there, I could be better to explain when I'm going to be eating and planning because I don't have any goal in mind about the nutrition. But right now, I just eat 3 hours, every 3 hours. I try to, or I eat when I'm hungry. I still have a snack with every meal. You know, I'm trying to do my thing, but you know, I got to plan it out a little bit better. Well, what about you? How often do you eat or try to eat?
So ideally, I try and have 4 to 5 meals throughout the day. One of the struggles that I'm having with this is my first meal has to be pretty early in the morning. So I'm up at 3 every morning.
Yeah, we got manage.
So like according to my what I'm following, it's like, oh, your first meal's got to be 3:30. Like whoa. Like I'm like rolling out of bed. I'm getting ready for the day. I was able to do it yesterday. Was the first time I was able to do it where at 3:30 I heated up my breakfast. I ate it. And I was still able to, get ready, be here on time, and start my day. But it's stupid because, as much as I want to say it doesn't work and it doesn't really matter, meal timing is important. When you're on a clock, when you're on a regimen like that, you are actually hungry at the times. Once you start setting that, once you're in that position and once you're in that habit of eating every 2 to 3 hours, you're going to be hungry every 2 to 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And that's a good sign that, like you said, your metabolism is working, it's boosted, and one of the biggest aspects of that is that your body's being fueled properly at proper times. So that's another thing that I need to work on is my post-workout recovery is I usually work out right to the very end, right before I have to, wash up and get to my next client, so I don't have my protein directly afterwards. Now, the anabolic window, that whole thing, that bro science, there's a lot of hit and miss about it. You're not losing all your gains if you're not eating 30 minutes within the 30-minute window after your workout, but it does help to get that immediate protein intake, that immediate glycogen refuel. So there is, the bros do have a point on that, and it is something that definitely is helpful and useful. And yeah, this is something that I think we can just do. We can have a whole episode just debunking and proving and validating bro sciences. Mm-hmm. But it's something that I definitely need to work on as well, and I do have I follow a meal plan now from a Renaissance Periodization. I bought their meal plan where it's so funny. The guy, Dr. Mike, who runs it, he's just this big, giant, bald, mean-looking dude. And every time I miss my check-in or under my macros, I could just see his face looking at me hella disappointed. And it's
that's what we need that.
Yeah, that's the accountability, and that's the thing that we were talking about with the coaches in episode 2. I just edited episode 2, that's why I keep referencing it. Talking about getting coaches and having that accountability, because we're the accountability for each other, obviously, and for our clients, but to have that person above you to kind of not look, I don't want to say look down, but look to your position and know that they're coming from a higher position and knowing that they're coming from a place of authority and power. It helps keep you regimented, it helps keep you regulated, and it does hold you accountable because, we're at such a level of discipline and we're at such a level of advancement that we really can't, we get too much grace from people that are not in our world. So, my girlfriend or my family or our friends that are not necessarily as dedicated to the craft as we are, they're like, oh, it's fine that you're all over the place with your meeting as long as you're eating, and you don't need to get 200 grams of protein. You're fine. You're looking pretty big. No, I'm incredibly small. You know who? One of our coworkers said to me the other day, because I was training a client and I didn't have my trainer jacket on, and she goes, and I was like, wow, what an odd pair. It was this bigger guy and this normal looking dude. And I looked at her, I'm like, I'm normal looking? Is that what you just called me right here? I've never been so upset in my life. That gave me body dysmorphia on a deep level.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had to talk about that this morning with my lady, but she's losing weight. She's like, I feel like even if I was 110 pounds, I would still be questioning myself. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Oh yeah?
I'm sorry, it's something that we have to deal with.
Same thing with my guy who had an incredible transformation. He's already hit his first goal and his second goal, and now he's on his third goal. And he's like, I just think this time I'm going to get it. I had to look him dead in the face and go, no, buddy, you're in it. You're in this world. Welcome to the freak show like the rest of us. You're a sick man like the rest of us. You're never going to be satisfied. And that's something I've certainly balanced with is being, trying to be satisfied and enjoying the process while I have the process. And this is like, I'm definitely deep in this right now because my abs are gone, because I'm filling out a little more. I'm getting very solid pumps, and I'm getting like I'm stronger and this and that. But when I look at myself in the mirror and then I see even flashbacks like my December recap or my November recap, and just seeing what we looked like pre-show and post-show, I'm like, man, like I want that again. I want to stay that lean forever.
Yeah.
And that's something that is just, one, not realistic, and two, an antagonistic goal from what my actual goals are.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you on that.
But
no, we were talking about something before we started going on about the body dysmorphia. I completely forgot.
We were talking about normal. We were talking about. Oh wow! We'll cut this all out. Sorry, we'll move on. So I got another question for you.
No.
After you, please.
Even so, it just goes back into like fine tuning and knowing that there's more room for improvement. Even if you're making those steps to improve, there's always something that we can fine tune, and that's not to say that you're not on the right track. It's just to say that you are on the right track, and let's keep going with it, and let's progress and get better at it, and again, make it into that lifestyle type of thing.
And that's why it's so important to measure your body, measure your body fat percentage, your body weight, and honestly, also your lifts. Like, so measuring how much weight you're doing, how many times you're doing it, how's your form, because these are all things. Like, I have a guy who he's been frustrated for the past 3 months because he wants more. He wants to see more results, and I had to explain to him, like, listen, we just got you to the point where you can do back workouts and not feel it in your forearms only. And we also got, like, all your form is significantly better than when you first did it. We can actually barbell bench now. We can actually, do all these different things. You can actually last the whole hour of our workout and not 45 minutes and throw up twice. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to look at, and I also showed him. You started off doing, hammer strength flat bench with just 25. We just did a plate yesterday. So you got to look at those little things, and that's why it's so important to progress. But speaking of which, speaking of progressing, speaking of your workouts, I want to ask you about this. Train to failure in every workout, every exercise, every day.
No, I definitely had fell victim to that when I first started, like a complete maniac. But then after getting the background knowledge and then learning about programming and still, going through gaining more knowledge about programming and the importance of it, training to failure is 1 time a week type of thing for me personally. You know what I mean? I'm not going to train to failure every single time that I work out on a muscle group. I would save it if I did the one time that I'm looking to do it, maybe on the last set of my last workout, where it's completely just get everything out of your chest, for example, or doing just the way to keep the intensity high. But the reason I say that is because personally, once I stopped training and I started following programs, I seen a crazy amount of progress compared to when I started, and I wasn't, where I was going crazy and just coming to the gym, training to failure. Literally, I would probably be in the gym for about 2 to 3 hours.
Yep.
And I had no energy when I left. I would go in there, full energy, leave with none, and I would do maybe 10 sets of my bench press, 10 sets of my squats, warm up to get into a top set, and then by the time I finished my first workout, I literally had no more energy, and I couldn't do anything else necessarily, so properly, you know what I mean? So once I started programming, I'd say the biggest benefit that I seen, once I stopped training to failure, the biggest benefit that I seen was the more energy that I had to use throughout the rest of the day, and then the progress that was made. So with that being said, the progress that was made, say I used to do like 8 workouts in a sitting, 8 to 10, maybe 12 to 13, like it's insane. Once I started cutting that down to about 4 to 5, I was able to work out more times a week on that said muscle group as well. So say if I started my week Monday chest, I was able to do chest again on Thursday, compared to where I completely burned it out, did all the workouts on my chest on Monday, and then I just waited again to next week Monday to do chest, to do it completely again. Now I could do Monday chest and now Thursday chest, and now there's a lot more room for recovery and improvement. Size we're trying to gain, a little bit big, you know. So there's more room for improvement in said areas when you could do that like that. So that's one thing that I would say that plays a major role in that. What about you?
No, absolutely. The progression is such an important part, and honestly, that's like to me, that's secondary.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's so important, but what's more important to me is recovery and what training to failure every time without proper recovery does to your body.
Mm-hmm.
It does a whirlwind of pain. Your central nervous system is going to be overloaded, and that's why you felt like death at the end of every workout. So your brain is shot. You're not cooked. You're not focused. But like with your central nervous system, you overload your central nervous system when you put too much strain on your physical body. It affects your neurons and it affects your body's ability to recover. So that's why at the end of a workout you're going to be so hazy, and why the rest of the day you're going to feel hazy and stupid. And if you don't sleep properly, you're not eating the proper protein afterwards, you're still under-recovered. And all that does is with damaged central nervous system, under-recovered muscles, and a fatigued body, you're going to get injured.
Exactly. And now I want to sorry to cut you off. I want to tap into that just because you said that. That was something that I constantly did every single day on my journey when I first started the gym. It was failure. So now, with that being said, that's something that I noticed as well. I was always hurt all the time. So injuries play a major role, and that deters performance. So if you're hurt, you won't be able to practice and or participate in your said sport or workout in weightlifting or training or practice for your competition event that you have coming up. And if you can't do that, you can't be consistent, you won't make your goals. And then not even just that, I would say training till failure had its own negatives in a sense that I wasn't fueling myself right.
Yes.
In that sense in itself too. I was overtraining, so that became something that I had to stop doing. I was overtraining in a sense. I still don't see now I'm not overtraining. I could still be, just because of the calories that I intake are not sufficient enough. But with that being said, what I'm trying to say is basically with training till failure, you're going to be putting your body in that state of mind where you're already taxed. So you have to make sure that you could fuel yourself properly. So after that workout, if you do train to failure 1, 2, 3 times a week, make sure that you refeed yourself so that you don't feel like complete crap the next day, so that you can go back into the gym and train to 110 or 100% full percentage, and you won't be slacking the next day where you're going only 70 or 80% because you woke up with that head fog. Just like that. Make sure that it all falls back to our fuel. Literally, it all falls back to our fuel. So.
Absolutely. And I was going to say something about that.
What, overtraining?
So overtraining, like some people will come at you and say, oh, overtraining is a myth, overtraining is a myth. Basically, yes. Undernutritionally, no. So that's what I would rephrase it. I would rephrase it instead of overtraining, it's under recovering or undernutrition.
Yeah.
And because, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know, I stole that from someone. I can't even take credit. But
I'll find you.
it's so important to recover properly, and that's the thing that's going to make your output, it's going to make your progress significantly higher. It's going to make yourself stronger. You're going to get much stronger taking a set that you can do to 12 and bring it down to 8, and make sure every single rep is slow, controlled, and contracted. So now you have 8 reps that you have way more output in, and you're more taxed, you're more efficiently breaking down the muscles, and now when you come back to the gym the next time, you have a better mind-muscle connection. So the next time you do that same 8 reps, it's going to be even more efficient, even more stronger. You're going to recover better. And that's the thing I definitely want to keep you guys. I want you guys to remember, I want you guys to take away from this episode is under-recovering and under-nutrition is so important.
That's super important. And then I want to dabble in on, like you were just saying, if you are under-nutritioning, is that it?
I don't think so. That's the name of this episode, is under-nutrition.
Under-nutrition. Nah, I like that. But basically what I'm just going to get to is if you're not fueling yourself properly and you are training to failure, depending on all of your sets or whatever you're working on for that set day, your posture and form is also super important. So corrective exercise is super important, and that's also going to lack if you're suffering from the feelings of overtraining or you're just training to failure. Your posture, your form, the way you're doing your reps, and the connective that you have with your muscles will be lacking. It definitely will, and it's not beneficial to train in that sense all the time. So like he was saying, if you just drop the weight back, do a set that you can do for 8 controlled reps, or 8 to 10, even 12, but making that lighter weight feel heavy, just so that you can build that mind-muscle connection. And then with that being said, you can start tracking, writing down your numbers, and then progressing weekly, whether it be 2.5 or 5 pounds, just so that you are on track, knowing that you are gaining size, gaining whatever you're looking to do. That's something that you can do when you are not training to failure, focusing on your posture and form, and then focusing on the weights increasing, whether it be 2.5 pounds or 5 pounds a week, but being able to control heavy weight instead of just flinging it around, just training your body to failure. You're literally ripping your body apart at that point. You're using every muscle in your body instead of just, say, like, I'm picturing T-bar rows right now.
Yep.
With 8 plates on there,
yep,
going for 15 reps.
Literally.
What did that do for you other than break your heart off? Literally. What did that do for you? They're like, what are you going through at this point?
Yeah,
you know,
honestly.
Compared to doing maybe 2 plates on the T-bar row where you're going controlled, still heavy, but you're doing every single rep the exact same, and it's just, good quality repetitions and a better feel for you ultimately at the end of the day. And then you could go back and do it again 2 to 3 days later, as long as you properly fueled yourself and you've recovered. You gave yourself time to recover, you stretched, you did everything. You can do it over a longer period of time. It just makes more sense for longevity purposes and for your goals, honestly, to get them a little bit quicker. Yeah?
100%. All right, but that wraps us up for today. We got to get going.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This is episode 4 of...
No, 3.
No, 3, 4. I have one in the chamber. I just edited 2.
Oh, shoot.
Last week was episode 3 where we started talking about nutrition, and then episode 4 is today.
4.
Thank you guys so much for watching. By the time we record this today, the first episode will be out, so if you liked and subscribed already, we appreciate you so much.
Thank you guys.
Big plans for the coming year. If you have anything you guys want to bring up, if you have anything you guys want to talk about, like we said on episode 2, if you have any, influencer videos you want us to react to and debunk.
That'd be dope.
Any Jim Vale videos that you want us to cringe at,
like, funny.
Yeah, even if you want to come at our own videos and you want to put us on the spot.
I will even come in my own videos, my old ones.
Yeah, we'll come after us. We'll definitely do like a cringe react video of some of our old, because we both have fitness videos from way before we met each other.
The beginning of the journey, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be down to do that.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please be sure to let us know. Our ads will be down here. Make sure to give us a follow on that. And then, just stay tuned with us. We'll keep you guys posted. We'll try and get back as much information and knowledge and keep it enjoyable every time you see us. So, thank you guys again for clicking on video.
Alright, see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Next time. Boom.